Hi guys, just going to talk quickly about the SATA cables and what I'm doing in my build and also how to go about doing them. So this is how the cable comes out of the power supply with one end connector and two inline connectors with the horrid OEM sleeving. And what I'm doing is I've removed the connectors from one of them, and that's just going to be clean sleeved, as you can see, all the way back to the power supply. So it just has one end connector at one end. I've got one more wire to do on that, which I'll show you in a second. And then with the connectors that I removed from that one, I'm going to put them on this cable, so that they're spaced correctly for running down the back of the hard drive cage, which is going to be pretty tricky. Hopefully I'll be able to show you that sometime soon. So I'll show you how you remove the inline connectors later, but once you have removed them, they leave little cuts in the wire which you either want to cover in heat shrink or insulation tape. I've used insulation tape. Also, just to make it easier when you're putting them back into the power supply, you want to number. Can you see that? You want to number all the wires. This one's number 5, so it goes in that slot. So preparing for sleeving, very much the same as for the ATX pins. You measure up the paracord and you just heat up either end of it so it doesn't fray. And then just roll up this tape so that it fits in the paracord, like so. Now the connectors on the SATA connectors are quite a bit bigger than the ATX pins, so I find that shuffling is easier than pushing. You'll know what I'm talking about if you watched my other video, but it is quite a bit slower, so I might skip this. You might find that the paracord bunches up when it gets to a bit of tape or heat shrink, so you just want to pull that down over it and carry on. Got that over the connector. Oh, sorry, get that in focus. So we're just going to remove the masking tape. And then just pull the sleeve up so it's up to about there. That's just below that. So much the same as we did for the ATX. You just want to get a flame, heat up all round. Just twist it around in your fingers until you've got a good hold on it. Okay, that'll do. And then you just get this and it just slides in like so. Can you see that? No, you can't. There. Okay. So it just slid in, and we now have ourselves a nice sleeved SATA connector. So I'm just going to quickly show you how to remove the SATA connectors that you find at the end of a daisy chain. It's very simple. There's two metal pins on the inside which are being held in by this plastic tab. So all you want to do is lift the plastic tab up, so you can slide the metal connector out. Do this using your X-Acto knife, and you just pop it in there. This may take a couple of attempts as it is quite fiddly, but you just want to be putting some tension on the cable that you're using with your left hand, and with your right hand you just want to lift that connect it up.
So there you go, and then it just slides out like so. As you can see, there are the two metal pins which hold it in place. So now you want to wrap it in masking tape, put a number on it, and move on to the next one. Now I'm going to show you how to remove the inline connectors. It's a fairly simple procedure. Basically there's a slot at either end, one there and one there. And you want to get a flathead screwdriver, make sure it's quite small, and you're just going to stick it in there and prise it up at both ends. And there you go, that top section just comes off. And now you've got, you can see these metal clips in here. These are just sharp bits of metal which the wires are forced into. You can see that it's got those notches where the metal is cut in. If you're keeping the connector in the same place, you don't need to worry about this, but if you're not going to put a connector here, you want to tape that up. So obviously we can't have sleeving over this bit as it goes through the connector, because it'll be too thick, it won't fit through the arches on here. So what we're going to have to do is sleeve up to this side, then using some, where have I put it? Some super glue, there we go. Yeah, super glue. Any brand ought to do. You just whack some super glue on the wire, bring your paracord up and just hold it in place until the super glue sets. Well, it's not until it sets, but until the paracord doesn't slide away. Do that on all of them so that you don't see, well, you don't use the melt method, because the melt method you'd be able to see the melt part, whereas with the super glue that's hidden on the inside. So depending on how that looks, you might then want to put some heat shrink on top of it just to cover up the sort of, not frayed, but just sort of slightly scrappy ends of the paracord. So in the end I decided not to put in the inline SATA connectors because I've only got 2 hard drives in my case, one SSD, one hard drive, so I only really need 2 connections, and it is quite a lot of effort, hard work to put in those inline connectors and get them looking neat, and because I don't need them it seemed a bit of a waste of time, but the best way to do them is with the super glue and then cover it in heat shrink. So thanks for watching, I hope you found this video helpful. Please like, comment and subscribe for more computer videos. Thanks.